comments on. Good evening, everyone. Good evening and welcome to Sugar and Crumbs with Nifty Nozzles. My name is Tracy Mann from Tracy Mann Cakes, and I'm here this evening to give you a demonstration on Kelly's design, Kelly being my daughter.
Yay.
Kelly's on comments tonight, so this is Kelly's design tonight, and I'm going to show you how to make a reindeer themed cake, and I'm going to be showing you how to do some painting on some chocolate. I'm going to be showing you how to temper some chocolate, how to use a mould, and I'm going to show you a little mini version as well, so you can make a big cake for somebody or you can make a little cake for somebody. So I've got two things going on at the same time. I'm going to temper dark chocolate tonight as well, which is something I haven't done yet. I've done ruby, I've done white, and I've done milk live, so I'm going to do dark tonight. So that's something else for you to go through as well. Kelly is here on comments. Kelly is my daughter. She'll say hello again.
Hello.
She's in the background. It's her design tonight. I have to keep repeating that. It's Kelly's cake tonight, isn't it?
So if it's rubbish, it was Mum. It wasn't me.
It will be fine. So we're going to be doing a big cake. The cake that I've got here tonight is a 7-inch round cake. So if you do want to have a go at this yourself, I will give you all the measurements as I go along, in case you want to copy it at any point. And we will see how we get on. So we're going to be using Calabao chocolate, which is this one here. This is the dark chocolate, 811. Cocoa solids 54.5, and the question we were asked at the weekend was,
is it vegan?
Is it vegan? Yes, it is. That's what it says on here, doesn't it? We found it on here, didn't we? When we looked for it. You did anyway. It's on the bigger packets, I think, anyway. So there we go. So we're going to be tempering this tonight, and I've already done some things in advance because I wanted to do them with slightly different chocolate, so I have to do them with milk chocolate, but I'm going to talk all through that anyway, and then show you how to do a little bit of painting on the chocolate as well. All reindeer themed, obviously, so that's what we're here to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, that's a very good point, what am I going to do first? I'm looking around at everything and thinking I'll have to get this done before the bake-off starts. So there's always that slight element of time pressure being on here, because we'll need to get it finished in time. So we're going to, I've got my cake here, now I've got cameras everywhere, so let's have a look and see if we can see what's going on there. I'm going to just take this down as well, there we go. So this is the cake that we're going to be using tonight. It is a 7-inch round cake. I've already pre-filled it with buttercream, and then round the edges of this I'm going to be putting some cigarellos on, which we will put on once we have done the transfer sheets, which we will do in a second. So I'm going to make a very nice little plaque that goes in the middle of this cake tonight, that's got a reindeer on it, and it's got reindeers in the background as well. And then we're going to pipe around the outside edge with some of the buttercream and one of the Nifty Nozzles, which I'll show you later on. And then we're going to be putting the cigarellos around the outside edge as well. So this is a full-on reindeer week. Well, I hope so anyway. We'll see how we go, and we'll see what happens. Right, let me come back on screen again. So we're going to be using, so that's my cake, and we're going to sort that out later, so we don't need to worry about that at the moment. And we're going to do some transfers in a minute. So we'll talk about what they are and what we're going to do with them tonight. So let me change my camera again so you can see. All very technical, obviously. Right, so we're going to be using this transfer sheet tonight. Now, this is, I'm going to hold it up so you can see it. There we go. It's got little reindeers on it. Actually, I've got them on upside down. Let me turn them round and you can see it better then. That would help, wouldn't it? So they are little reindeers, white ones, just running across there, and you can see they're kind of going up and down in a line. And this is a transfer sheet, which means it is a food grade acetate sheet that you can see through, and it has got this pattern on it which is made of cocoa butter. And basically with cocoa butter it's sprayed pattern on here, and we're going to get this pattern off and onto chocolate and then onto the cake. Okay, so now I've done this in lots of different ways. I'm going to do a couple of different things tonight. So what I've done is I have got another little cake in as well. So I've got a small cake here, which actually I didn't do that long ago. I did it now. I'm going to put that in there so you can see it. And let's have a look. Now, where's my tape measure gone? What did I do with it? Oh, no, there it is. Right, so this little cake here, which actually I've covered with ganache, or you can cover it with buttercream, buttercream, that's absolutely fine. It's approximately 2 inches across that way, and it's quite small, it's only 1 inch high, so it's a real mini little cake, this one. And what I'm doing tonight is I'm going to create a big cake and a little cake at the same time, so that you've got some options. So if you fancy doing the big one, then you'll know how to do that. If you want to do the small one, you're going to know how to do that as well. So there's a couple of things tonight for you to do. So with a chocolate transfer sheet, let me just pop that over there.
Which are where, Mum? Where are your transfer
My chocolate
sheets?
transfer sheets are on my website. So they're not on the Sugar and Crumbs page. I'll put them up quickly before I carry on. So if you are looking for these sheets tonight, do go over to my website and have a look. The Christmas ones are going really, really quickly now, and once they go, they become impossible for me to get because they come in from abroad. So I appeal to anybody who is thinking about doing anything connected with Christmas and transfer sheets that do get them sooner rather than later, because they will sell out. The Halloween ones sold out 2 weeks before Halloween, so yeah, they just become impossible to get. So I've got plenty at the moment, but just pre-warning you there really. So we've got a single portion cake, and we've also got our big cake here. Nice to have a couple of options, because you know, at this time you might want to make these as little gifts for somebody. You might want to give the bigger one to somebody else maybe, or a present or whatever.
Or just eat it yourself.
Or eat it yourself, yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Kelly.
Yeah.
So what I've done is this is my sheet of which you can cut it up. You don't have to use the whole thing in one go. You can just cut strips off. So what I've done with this is I've taken my tape measure and I've gone all the way around the outside of my cake, which is approximately, for those who like inches, 7.5 inches. And I've added on an extra 1/2 inch, so 8 inches, like so. And that is the length of this strip here. So that's 8 inches there. Let me come up to camera a little bit so you can see a bit better. Okay. And then height wise, now I said it's just over 1 inch, and that's what I've got on here. So I've got just over 1 inch there as well. So it's a little bit narrower than what I normally do. Normally, I do make these more like 2 inches in depth, but I'm trying to get this in a little box tonight. So I've narrowed everything down a little bit for those that are thinking she doesn't normally do it like that. I am making these a little bit shallower, purely just to kind of accommodate the reindeer theme more than anything else. So that's what I've done there. And then I've also taken one of these, it's all covered in chocolate because absolutely everything I like is covered in chocolate. Now this board here is 4 inches, and what I've done is I've put it onto my transfer sheet. I've drawn around it with a pencil and I've cut it out, and I've now got myself a circle, and that is what I'm going to be using to do my design on tonight. So my reindeer is going to be sitting on this design here. So I've got my little strip here and that there. That's all the dark chocolate that I'm going to need tonight, because everything else will be, I've already done in milk chocolate, but I will talk you all through that as we go. So these are the 2 bits that I need to get prepped before I start tempering my chocolate. Now, if you see on one side, you've got the pattern here, and if you feel it, it's quite smooth. And if you turn it over and they'll feel the other side, this is the rough side. This is the side that you need to have your transfer over, so that you're going to put your chocolate on this side. If you put the chocolate on the other side, nothing will happen. It has to go on this side here. So it's really important before you start that you turn it over like that. Don't do what I did. Mind you, I did it in front of a whole audience of people. I actually did the whole demonstration with everything back to front. So that's how it works, like that. Where did you get the small circle? The small circle is just a cake board, which I've just cut out. So it's just a cake card, nothing particularly complicated. You don't have to use a cake card. You can use circle cutter. You can use, I don't know, outside of, I'm looking at a reel bowl. I'm looking at the outside reel of a sellotape over there, Kelly. You could use that, couldn't you? Anything that's round, that's roughly that sort of size will do. So I've only done it this side because it fits my design really well, and that's what I'm trying to go for really. So that's kind of why I've gone there. All right, so I've got myself all ready. I've got my little cake, so I'm all organised. Look at this. This is before all the mess starts, you see. It still goes downhill after this. That's when all the mess kicks in. Right, okay. We've got our bits all ready. So what we're going to do now is I'm just checking I'm not going to fall over anything. I have to move my chair out of the way, you see, otherwise I'll end up on the floor. Right, let me put that out of the way. There you go, I don't want to knock that other camera either as well. Right, so we're going to start by tempering dark chocolate, which is something I haven't done on here before. So we're just going to open this Oh, and throw it everywhere. Kelly's laughing. That's not very nice. Right, I really don't need that much either. You like dark chocolate, don't you, Kelly?
I do.
I'm just having a little mini tidy up here so you can't see the mess that I've made, you see. That's got to be one joy of me only appearing on this camera, hasn't it? Right, okay, so here we go. This is the dark chocolate I'm going to use. I actually don't need anything like that. I'll just reduce that a little bit. I've got too much in there, being too enthusiastic there. Right, am I organised? Yes. So the key to this is plastic bowl, plastic spatula, chocolate in there and a microwave. You don't need anything else. So if you go onto Google, you put in the words tempering chocolate, which is basically preparing your Belgian chocolate for use with moulds, or what I'm about to do with transfer sheets, you'll see methods like seeding, and you'll see methods like using a marble slab. You'll see people standing there with thermometers, and that just takes forever. So this method, if you are at home, which the majority of you are, and you're not in a professional kitchen, this is brilliant. This is all you need to do. It's just a microwave, chocolate, plastic bowl, spatula, low cost too. No thermometers. I don't even own a thermometer. If I had one, I'd be worried about it. So best not to have one. So let's start this off. Might help if I actually switch the microwave on though. Okay, so first thing that's going to happen is it's going to start going through a heating cycle. So it's 30 seconds to start with, and that's the initial blast that you're going to give your chocolate to get going. It's on full power, which is approximately 850 or 800, something like that, and that's the initial blast that I'm going to give this chocolate, and then very carefully we're going to start creeping up the temperature and start melting it. Now this is dark, so dark chocolate always takes longer than everything else, but I haven't got a lot in here tonight, so hopefully it shouldn't take too long. But when you've done the initial blast, there'll be no change visibly at all, but things are starting to happen. So you have to bear with this. You have to just trust that the microwave is starting to break everything down for you, and that you are going to be fine. So don't worry about it. But even at the start, it's hardly even worth putting the spatula in. You can literally shake it, and that's enough to kind of mix it around anyway. But the dark chocolate, the higher the level of cocoa solids in something, then the longer this takes. So white chocolate is the quickest one to do, because cocoa solids in white chocolate is about 28%, whereas this is 54%. Now you can get a lot more dark chocolate that's much higher, so you can get up to the 70s, 80s, 90s. It just depends how kind of strong you want it to taste. This one is the one that is the big seller with Calabao. It's the one that most people use, so that's why we use this one more than any of the others. It tastes really nice, doesn't it, Kelly?
Yeah.
She likes dark chocolate, we see her.
Dark chocolate's the best.
I'm not a massive fan of dark chocolate, but you like it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So you can see I'm doing this cycle, and you have to be really careful that you don't break this cycle. So don't step ahead of yourself and go, oh, I need to go out, I'll just quickly do this a bit quicker, because it will cause you a problem. What we're trying to do is creep it up slowly without kind of knowing what the temperature is, so that it becomes tempered, this thing tempering. So all we're doing is very, very slowly creeping towards where we need to be.
My chocolate always starts melting after the first blast. Have I got a super strength microwave? Should I reduce the power?
Oh, it sounds like you might have. Yeah, definitely reduce the power. If you're finding it's melting immediately, I've got a microwave at home that does that.
Just start straight away with the 10 seconds.
Yeah, just start. Yeah, see, look, Kelly's, that's a lifetime of training. I'd just like to point that out, that my children can now actually tell everyone how to temper chocolate. I've done a good job here, Kelly. Yes, if I were you, if you find your microwaves blasting really, really quickly, just start with 10 seconds. Just keep it moving as well. Should be fine at 30, and certainly with dark, I would do it with 30 or 20. I certainly wouldn't start at 10 with dark, because dark is much more resilient. But yeah, you might have a super strong microwave. You never know. Sometimes it can just be like that just for those that are watching and have not seen this done before, let me put my other camera on and you'll see. So at the moment, that's what it looks like. So there's not a huge change. But what is going on is that the chocolate's definitely starting to melt. Now, the way to think about this is if you put some butter into the microwave and if you leave it there for 10 seconds, it's going to melt. It's just a different product in the microwave. So there's definitely a strong heat in there. It's just a case of us waiting for it to do. So you do need to keep going. 10 seconds stir, 10 seconds stir. Don't break the rules. Okay? Break the rules, you can have all sorts of problems. So stick with the 10 seconds stir. Just like Kelly said. Isn't that right, Kel?
Yeah.
She's had to watch me temper chocolate forever. Literally, haven't you? Since you were like...
Knew how to temper chocolate before I could walk.
Oh, you see? I'm not sure that's 100% true, Kelly, but anyway. Right. So we're getting there. As I say, the cycle does take a little bit longer because it's dark, which is why I tend to demonstrate with milk and white to keep it all moving. Otherwise you do think, oh, she's here forever. But it's worth the wait. And do you know what? I've got to show it being done like this because otherwise it's not going to work. And we have to get this to work. Nearly there. It's starting to change now. So it's starting to look a bit more shiny. I'll show you what I mean. Actually, can't really see much on this, but I'll hold up anyway. Poor Kelly, they're feeling sorry for you.
You see, I liked it as well.
Kelly's on comments, so you behave. Oh dear. Got to be a good girl.
Always.
Always. Right, it's starting to stick together now. So we're getting towards the end. Oh good, somebody, see now there you go. Someone says the only way of tempering it works for them. Perfect, that's exactly right. If you follow this, you literally cannot go wrong with this. It's sort of sticky now, do you see what I mean? It's starting to, there we go. Oh look, Karen's talking to you now.
You're getting the feed faster than I am.
I know I am. I can see what's coming, you see. Keeping my eye on you, Kelly. If we do dark chocolate, you haven't even got that much dark chocolate in here, and it is amazing how much longer it's taking, and that is because of these cocoa solids. When I teach chocolate, I always say to people, look, milk, white, dark, totally different. They all behave differently. You need to learn how to manage each one of them. So don't be thinking that, oh yeah, white chocolate's all the same. It isn't. It's not the same. It does behave differently. This one is definitely taking longer because it has higher cocoa solids, but it is now starting to merge. Let me show you what it's doing. So I'll put it on the other camera and you'll be able to see a bit better there. There you go. You can see it starting to get... We're starting to get there. This is why I don't demonstrate dark, you see, because it takes too long.
But it means I have a good snack.
But Kelly likes dark, you see. And it was your design.
Exactly.
So we can...
Unless it goes wrong. Then it was not mine.
It won't go wrong. Now, every time you melt this, you will need to stir it for a little bit longer each time. Just so it starts to move it around, because it will start to clump together and you really do need to keep moving it around. Right. So we're now at this stage, so let's have another look so people can get an idea of what's happening. So it's all gone together in a big lump now. So we're almost there. When it gets to this point, all of a sudden it goes. It's very quick. It's getting to that point that seems to take forever and a day, but we are getting there. So now it's kind of all merging into one. So we'll put it back in again. There's still no, it's not liquid yet. We're looking for the consistency of double cream. So we can, as it pours, it pours like double cream, not like water, because if it pours like water, then it's not going to work. And likewise, we don't want it like cement like this either. So we've now melted it all. I'm going to lift it up so you can see it. So that's where we are at the moment. So there's no evidence of any buttons left, but clearly we can't pipe or do anything with that, so we need to keep it going. But literally 2 or 3 more cycles of this 10-second stir thing and we are there. So we're almost there. Bring on the reindeers. Yeah, 1 more after this and we're there. Oh, let's turn it back on. So let me show you what we're doing at the moment. So this is what it's looking like at the minute. So it's all melted, but obviously we need it to flow. So we're going to put it back in the microwave again. Actually, I don't take, this is my new spatula. Let's put that back in, because my other one broke the other week. I broke 2 in a week. I know. Oh, I don't know. They just, the ends fell off. Right, okay, what have we got? So 1 more blast and we're there. So let me get this off. So quite a long cycle with dark, just remember that. If you've seen me do white, you've seen me do milk and ruby, and now this one, it is a longer cycle. So be prepared for that if you are doing dark. So I'm just mixing it on the table just to see where we are. No, it still needs another blast. It's taken a long time. Oh, there we go. See, I could cheat and speed it up, but then it's all going to go wrong, so we're not going to do that. We're going to do it properly, aren't we, Kelly? Mm-hmm. Right, okay. Okay, perfect. We're there. So, what I'm going to do, let me just pull my chair in a second.
When you've melted it and start using it in the moulds, if it starts to set, can you keep reheating it?
Yep.
Or keep it over hot water?
Yeah, yes to both. Now what I'm doing now is I'm just incorporating what's on the sides as well, because with dark chocolate, what I have found in the past is if you do not incorporate the sides of everything, it really will streak. So with the dark chocolate, it's crucial, absolutely crucial, that you get every single bit mixed. Okay.
How does the ruby and the caramel chocolate temper?
I haven't done the ruby. Sorry, I haven't done
the ruby.
No, not the ruby, the other one. I'm just giving this a quick blast again. Hold on, let me just do this. The ruby chocolate behaves like halfway between white and milk, and the caramel I don't know because I haven't done it, so I'm not sure. Right, now I'm going to just not answer questions for a sec while I just do this. So I'm going to pop the chocolate onto here. Now I'm going to spread this over my circle that I cut out earlier. Now I'm going to have it on quite thick, and I've got to find it quickly. It's here somewhere. There it is. I'm just going to lift it up and I'm just going to move it out of my way. Okay, let me get rid of this. Like so. It is setting very quickly, because that is what dark chocolate is like. I'm not going to worry too much about those edges because I'm actually going to pipe around that, so that's okay. Now, let's see if we can get this going. So I don't need much chocolate for this, although it's setting super fast.
Because it's cold.
Because it's so cold in here. Let me put it back in the microwave again. And actually I haven't got a lot in the bowl, so I think that's probably part of it as well. So let me just explain what I did here. So that was the circle that I cut out earlier. Then I covered it in chocolate and picked it up quickly and moved it because I need to be able to have it as a circle. Now you can cut this out as a circle, however I wouldn't recommend that. We tried that and it was much easier to pre-cut the circle than it was, gosh this is setting so fast tonight, it was much easier to pre-cut the circle than to put it on the transfer and then cut it out. So this chocolate is setting so fast, it's unbelievable. Just move that out of the way a little bit. Right. Super duper fast. Get my spatula out. Right. I'll pop it one more through the microwave because again it's setting very quickly. Give it another blast. We'll get there in a minute. That's better. That's better. Okay, so we're going to do this really quickly. So we're going to take our chocolate and we're going to spread it across like so. Make sure you've covered it all very quickly. Pick it up and just wrap it around your cake as quick as you can, as fast as you can, and overlap it like that. Okay, that's it, job done. But you have to do this when the chocolate is wet. If you do this when it's dry, then you don't stand a chance with it. I'm just going to stick that down a little bit, stop it.
Just a quick question, how big is the cake? So I guess the little cake and the big cake.
2 inches and 7 inches. 2 inches that way, 1 inch high, and then the other cake is a 7-inch round cake. Right, these are now going off to the fridge. Now what I've done here, you can see me fiddling around a little bit with this. I have put a tiny bit of chocolate underneath this to stop it lifting, because what chocolate does when it's setting, it contracts and then it starts to curve. So I'm trying to keep this flat, so I put a little bit of chocolate under there just to hold it down in place. Okay, right, I'm covered in chocolate, so my nice tidy work surface has now been destroyed. Let's put those in the fridge. Okay, right, got that bit out the way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do some cigarellos onto the cake, and I'm going to talk to you about the reindeer that we've made as well and show you how to paint that. So we will do the reindeer next because we can do the cigarellos last. I'm going to just put that, I'm going to need that, Kelly, so that's okay actually. Yeah, just going to put a bit more chocolate in there and I'll melt that, but we won't need to temper that, so that's that problem solved. Let me just get a cloth, as I am covered in chocolate, literally. Just give my work surfaces a quick wipe down so I'm not wearing it. Right, okay, let us have a look at this. Let's turn this down and I'll show you what I have done. Okay, so because I'm on quite a short run with this to get this all done in time, I have done some work previously today with these two moulds. So I have made some stars using this mould here, which were done in dark chocolate earlier today, so you can see these. I'll turn them over so you can have a look at them. Okay, so they're really quite pretty. So this is my star mould and this is the reindeer mould, and this is what I'm going to be using tonight. Now you can either make them on lollies or you don't have to make them on lollies, you just leave the stick out. So the one, I've got two on the go, one I've already painted, the other one I am going to paint that's got the lollipop stick in it, and that's what we're going to be using in a minute. So that's the reindeer mould and this one is the star mould. I've also made a little red bow which has come out of another mould that I've got, which is called a bow mould, funny enough. Ironically, it's called a bow mould. And then they've made some little red bows as well. Now how I've made these, I've made them with white chocolate and I've added in some red colour mill, which is a little pot of colouring you can use to dye chocolate, and I've made lots, some little red bows. So I've made this one, which I'm going to be showing you how to paint, and now I'm going to show you how to paint the chocolate, because when you get the reindeer mould, he's okay, he's all right, but I'm going to show you how to make him look a bit more interesting and jazz him up a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do next, so let's do that. Right, so we're going to paint with cocoa butter, my favourite thing, which I talk about continuously on Sugar and Crumbs. So if you haven't seen me before, This is something I do an awful lot of. I'm looking around. Is there a green board over there? Can you pass me that one behind you, Kelly, please? Thank you. Small avalanche. Pass it over. Fabulous. Thank you very much. Right, so you can see it a little bit better. That's all. There we go. All right, so we're going to paint him up. We're going to make him look pretty. And if you want to paint any form of chocolate, you need to be using cocoa butter. So this, for those that don't know, is something called a chrome food warmer. Now, all it is something that you would normally just put like a dinner plate on or something, and a tea light under here. I've used it for cocoa butter. If you don't want to use one that's like this, you can just use a bowl of boiling water, of which you can then just use that, and then just use either a plate. So if you don't have any system like this, either a plate or one of these, which is a metal paint palette. So
can you add red metallic edible paint to white chocolate?
Red metallic edible paint.
First thing, how it needs to be a dust.
Well, Colour Mill is the correct colour for chocolate, as is Dusting Colours. Sugar Flare have got out some colours, but they are listed specifically for chocolate. So unless it's listed for chocolate, a dust or Colour Mill, then the answer is no. So no gels, no pastes, nothing else, because the minute you put that into the chocolate, it will seize, and then you will have a problem. So what you need to do is don't use any of those three, otherwise you're just throwing the whole lot in the bin. So that's my advice with that. Right, now we're going to, people have been using wax burners for this as well. All sorts of different methods have been coming out with this. I'm also going to show you how to paint some gold stars with this colour here, which is called Royal Gold, which is a Sugar Flare colour. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. I'm going to do the reindeer first. So I'm just going to get my colours because I forgot to get them ready earlier. Right, in my great big tray of colours. So let's sort that out. Okay, so we're going to be using dusting colours. So we need white and we need pink. So I'll use that colour. And now there is some controversy over this. I decorated this that looks like holly. Now I strongly suspect what's at the top of his head may actually be antlers. But I'm not sure, and
looks nice.
I think the holly looks nicer, so we will be doing holly. But if anybody gets this and thinks, what is she doing? Why are these not painted like antlers? I think the holly looks better, so we're doing the holly, and that's the end of it. So that's why we're doing it. Where's moss green gone? That's what I'm looking for. We've got white, we need black as well. Now I've got my paint brushes. For those of you that have my paintbrushes, it's paintbrush 1 and 2 will be fine. That's all you need. Kelly, I might have to get you to rummage through this in a second. Oh no, that's not black. Where is it? There's black. You need black as well. And one other colour. Oh, green. Woodland green. My favourite colour. For those of you that again have done any cakes with me, they'll know woodland green comes up a lot. It's one of my faves. Moss green, I cannot see. God, where is it gone? There it is. No, it's not. That's Silver Sparkle. There it is. Wonderful. Perfect. Right, so we have got the lovely reindeer that we've made earlier, and dusky pink, white, black, moss green, woodland green, and red. Red is the other colour. He's got to have a red nose, hasn't he? We need red. Definitely need red and red. There we go. Right, we're organised now. Okay. And some kitchen roll. So we need this for cleaning our brushes in between. So somebody just made a comment about cleaning brushes. Yeah. So I clean brushes by two ways you can do it. One is hot soapy water. So you need to get a small pot with some hot soapy water and fill it with washing up liquid and swill your brush around and then take it out. Or in between, like I do, I tend to just literally take my brush and just twist it onto the kitchen roll using the cocoa butter, and it will all come out. So it's your choice really. I mean, when you've finished, by all means go ahead and use the washing up liquid, but I just find when I'm painting along, I just tend to use the cocoa butter as I go. It stops me having to keep running back to the sink every 5 minutes. Right, this is the one I need, not the one I've just cleaned. So now, because we're painting on a dark surface, I'm actually going to paint his nose white first. Okay, so I'm going to paint quite a lot of it white first to give it a chance of getting a much brighter colour, because if you paint red onto this, it's not going to stand out as much, and I would like it to have a really nice shiny red nose. So that's what I'm going to do. So we'll start with the white. So when you mix this up, all you would do is literally put your paintbrush into the colour, pick up some of the white dust and mix it. So the more colour that you put in, the thicker the paint. The more cocoa butter you put in, the thinner the paint. Now we want this to be quite thick because we want to get quite good coverage on this. All right, so we just mix that together like so. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go across his nose like that. So it will look a bit funny to start with because you'll be thinking, oh, he's got a white nose, but that's okay. So we'll just do a white nose like that. Just let that dry, okay? And then we're going to do his eyes. So it's all mapped out for you. You can see it in there. Again, it doesn't really matter if you kind of paint over the middle bit. Turn things around. I'm always saying to my students, move things around. You don't have to try and get your brush into the corner. Move it so you can get the brush into the corner, and you can just literally kind of just dab the colour in like so. So just sort of swirl it around a little bit. Back we go. Like that. Okay, so that's his eye. Now if you make any mistakes, you can use, I'm going to get this out so you can see it. If you have one of these, a scribing tool, you can literally just remove the colour. I mean, you don't want to be doing it too much. It's okay to do it now and again, but if you do make a little mistake, then it's easy just to kind of scratch it off. I'm also going to put a little bit of white in his ear.
Just a quick question. If you put a collar around your cake all the way around,
yeah,
does it have to go on buttercream?
It has to go on something. So it has to go on sugar paste or chocolate paste or ganache or buttercream, because otherwise the cake is going to pull away. So it's really important that you seal your cake first. Even if it's a thin layer of buttercream, it has to have a layer between that and the chocolate. Now up here, as I say, I found this quite difficult to actually work out what was going on, and as I say, I strongly suspect they're probably antlers, but we're going with the holly look tonight. So again, I'm still painting in white, and I'm just gonna go over this bit here. Do you know, it was only when I was driving down here, Kelly, tonight that I suddenly thought, I bet you they're antlers. But I think the holly looks nicer. It's got a nice headdress on. I don't know, I'm not sure now. Even you're not sure, I don't think.
No, I'm not sure.
No,
either.
Anyway, we like the holly look, so that's what you're getting. So we're going to paint some white over this. Now cocoa butter dries really quite quickly, so you'll find that within 1 to 2 minutes, I bet this is dry already. Yep, you see the nose is dry already. Really doesn't take very long. If it's taking too long, you'll probably find either it's too warm, so it might be that it's a hot day. In that case, it will take a bit longer, or you've got a lot of cocoa butter in your mix, and therefore you will have, it will take longer to dry. So just remember that. If you've got a lot of cocoa butter in there, it's going to take longer. Let me hold this up so you can see what I'm doing. So you can see already it's not, you know, greatest of coverage. It doesn't need to be. It just needs to have that layer of white down before we put any colour on, because then the minute we put the colour on, it's going to start standing out to be its true colour. So this first layer, imagine it's like priming your walls or something, is quite important. What I'm going to do though is I'm just going to go back into the eye, because that eye is going to remain white, apart from the little black pupil. So I'm just going to top that up now before I go back to the nose. You can just dab the colour in like so. There we go. Right, now we can leave that to dry, and we're just going to clean our brush in between like that. So it's just taking all the colour out. There we go. And we're going to switch over to red. And let's turn it around. It gets very hot, this paint palette, so be very careful. So we'll put red down, and we're going to pick up the red and start mixing. So remembering that the more dust that's in there, the thicker the paint. you'll soon work out what the paint feels like. Now, if anybody's looking at this and going, why is she doing it with cocoa butter? You need to do any chocolate painting with cocoa butter. You can't do this with gel. It just doesn't work. It will go on, it will look absolutely fine, and then the minute you touch it, it will fall off. It will just wipe away. So that's why it's cocoa butter. It's really important that you understand that if you paint anything with chocolate, it's got to be cocoa butter. So all we're doing now is just going to, I've got a lot of paint on my brush.
Just a quick question, going back to covering the cake. If you put sugar paste on, do you have to wet the paste first?
No. Well, if you're putting, okay, so if it's a basic cake, you've then got to put buttercream on it and then you put your sugar paste on. You don't wet it between the chocolate and the sugar paste, no. I hope that makes sense. I hope that's the answer to what the question you're asking me. Okay, so I'm just now putting the colour onto his nose, so you can see it stands out so much better because it's got a white base. So if you did this, I'm going to just show you what it would do. So if you do it onto this, you cannot see, it's not as bright. Okay, you're going to get a much brighter red finish if you paint on a white base than if you just do it straight onto the chocolate. So putting a white base down first is quite important. Again, leave it to dry and then you can always come back and top your colour up. Don't keep trying to paint it while it's wet, because actually what you'll end up doing is starting to lift your colour, and then you'll have another problem. So leave it to dry, add another layer. The more layers you add, the better the colour you'll get. Right, now we're going to go to this colour here, which is called moss green. There we go, pop that in there. Right, so pick some of this up. So this is a much paler colour than, I'm going to put a tiny bit of white in there as well. This is a much paler colour than woodland green, but I'm going to use woodland green for my detail. And I'm going to use moss green with a tiny bit of white just to give me the base of my holly. Well, that's what it's become anyway, rather than antlers. I like the holly look, so we're going for the holly look today. Okay, so you just paint over those like that. You can see I'm not being too accurate with it because, to be honest, it's quite difficult to see exactly what's going on with this mould. And I think with holly, it's all, you know, merging. It's not separate pieces, is it? So it's not going to be a problem if you just kind of just pop the paint on the bits that are kind of raised where that mould is. I think that's how I'm trying to describe this. Okay, like so. And then we will just wipe our brush again. And we're going to switch over to pink. Actually, what I might do to save me opening the pink is just take a tiny bit of red and a little bit of white and just mix the two together. Look at that, instant pink. There we go. That's just going to be for his ear. So we're just going to take our brush here and just paint the inside of the reindeer's ear. So I know some of you are beginning thinking, how far in advance can I do this? You can do this well in advance. Just it's how you store them that will keep them at their best. So it's really important that you store them away from any heat, away from any light, and away from anything that smells. And if you can achieve that, then you're onto a winner. Right, we're now going to go back with our white again, and I'm just going to put in some little spots where I want the berries to go. Okay, now I could have left this area clear, but it's easier to do it this way round. So I'm just painting over the top here of the green, just some little, I'm going to pick this up so you can see it. Okay, some little white spots there. Okay, and then that will dry and I can paint my red spots over the top of that. Right, let's go and do the eye. So we need black. Let's turn this round. Hot, hot, hot. Very hot. And also we will do the mouth. So what we'll do, what brush have we got here? We've got a 0 here. Let's reduce the size of our brush to give ourselves a bit of a chance. So I'm going to take my 0 brush, okay, which is much smaller than my number 1 brush, so I can get into the detail.
Would you store in an airtight box or a cake box?
I would store in a cake box, but I would just make sure it's not near anything particularly. Airtight boxes, you can get all sorts of problems with airtight boxes. Condensation, exactly, all sorts. So I'm just going to paint this bit here. Now when you look at this mould, his eye is slightly raised, so it's not, I'm not making this up, I'm just following what I can see. So I can see that it's a little bit raised, so that's the bit that I'm going to be painting, like so. Just take that off there. Got black, me and black dusting colour, honestly, goes absolutely everywhere every time I go near it. And then if you want to put in some eyelashes, you can always then take your brush at this point and just put in a few eyelashes here. This is when you can start giving them their character. Now there is a mouth that's marked on here as well. Again, you can take your brush very carefully, not breathe while you're doing it, and paint along the line here. Let me go over that again so we can see it a bit better. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, like that. So it's nice and straightforward. It's all there for you. So, you know, I'm not making this up. It's all fine. Okay. Right, let's clean our brush up again. And what we'll do is we'll go back to our red, and we'll just pick up some of the red here, and we'll just dab it over these white little spots that we did earlier for our berries. So we'll just go over those like that. Okay, there we go. And this one here, like that. Again, you can keep going over these and brightening them up. You know, if I wanted to go back to the nose now, make it a bit darker because it's dry. Actually, I'm running out of cocoa butter. I need to put a couple more bits on. Add in a few more, and then just darken this up a little bit more. So if you want to make it really, really red, you can go back and do that again. Could add a little bit of sparkle if you wanted to. Could spray it with a bit of edible glitter or something, as long as it's edible. There we go, just let that dry. And then we're going to go back to the holly. I'm going to just put some lines in with some of the woodland green, which is the darker green colour. It's my favourite colour, one of my favourite colours anyway. Cape painting. Just get the red out of my brush. I seem to have tons of red in there. Okay, so we just mix up a little bit of woodland green, like so. And then we'll put some veins in here. So we'll just do some very thin lines, just follow these holly antlers and just do some straight lines. And then I'm going to lift this up at the end so you can see it. And just,
can you use any colour dust with cocoa butter?
Yes, anything. Absolutely. The colour isn't really affected at all. All right, so any dust, any brand is fine. I'm going to show you what the lustres do in a minute, so you'll see those. Okay, so I'm just doing a straight line down this holly, and then just going back and just putting in a few veins. As I say, I'm not overthinking this, even though I'm on a clock really. You can see there that what I've done, I've made it quite simple. I haven't gone wild with it. I've literally just done the moss green as a base and then used the woodland green to do my lines. Right, now we're nearly there. We are going to take hold of some of the black again, just on my brush, and just put a little tiny bit on the berries. Hold on, let's get some paint going here. It's all gone a bit. So a tiny bit of black. Oh, see this black dust. Tiny bit of black dot on each berry. This is just details. You don't have to go this far with it. If you don't particularly want to, that's entirely up to you. But I just sometimes find that the detail makes the difference. That's what I personally think anyway. And then with the best bit with the nose and the eye. So this is what's going to bring it to life. We're going to use our white paint again. And all we're going to do is literally just put, this is all dry now, we're going to put a little dot there, like so, and we're going to put a line that comes down there like that, so it's a little bit cartoony, like so, and then a tiny little dot in his eye, like that, just a little one, and then it's like a little light in his eye, and then suddenly it transforms it completely. And it no longer looks flat, it suddenly looks much more alive. So these little things like white highlights make all the difference. So it's really important that you don't miss those bits off. If you're doing bits up here, you don't want to put the black dots on the berries, that's fine, but things like the white dots on the nose and the eyes, really important to make it look right. So we're just going to leave that to one side for the moment, and I'm just going to show you what the lustres look like on the dark chocolate stars that I made earlier. So this is a colour called Royal Gold. Now let's brush, if I got here, brush 2. So now what I tend to find with lustres is that they do pick up the dust with the cocoa butter quite considerably versus the matte ones. You'll find there's quite a big difference between the two. So I'll bring a couple of these in that I made. Probably need about, I don't know, should we have 5? Kelly?
Yeah, sure.
5?
Don't know what you're going to do with them, but...
Well, so all we're going to do, so this is chocolate again. This is now a lustre colour. This is Royal Gold mixed with cocoa butter. And all you're going to do is just paint them. Now, I like this colour. What it does, it seems to give it kind of quite a rusticy look. I'm going to again pick them up and show you what it's doing. I'll do one first in situ, and they're very quick as well, because you don't want to be messing about too much at Christmas. It's nice to produce lots of edible things, but you know, as you're getting towards Christmas Day and you know you've got a lot to do, this is the sort of thing you can do in advance. So let me pick them up and show you. So that's what they look like without the dust on them. Okay, this is what they look like with. So you can see it's quite a nice sort of rusticy, it's not complete coverage, but it is a really nice sort of rusticy looking star. I really do like this colour. So let's just do the rest of them. Again, I just want to show you how quick it is. It's really not, doesn't take very long at all. Now if anybody orders either the star, the reindeer or the bow mould, we do have some stock, but the supplier today has said once we've run out it will be a 5 to 7 day wait, because the lady that works in there has been partially furloughed, so the stock has slowed down again. So you may end up having to wait, but we will do everything we can to get them in as fast as we can. So and we'll do what we can. So we do have some stock in, but yeah, I have spoken to her today. So there we go, just keep moving that around. See how quick this is? Now you don't want to be holding on to anything you paint with chocolate. If you notice that I'm not touching it particularly, and that's because I don't want to start melting it, otherwise the paint's not going to go on very well, and obviously I'll start melting my chocolate as well. So you must keep your hands off what you're painting. I'm only using my fingers literally to turn it or to stop it moving around. If you start getting the dust really thin, thicken it up a bit, you'll find your coverage will change. Just add a bit more dust to it, and you'll find they cover really quickly. So one more after this. How am I doing for time? Oh,
still got a bow to paint.
Well, I haven't.
Oh.
Well, I have sort of. That's
not happening now.
Well, it is happening, but it'll happen in seconds. This will all go together very quickly, but it might be a bit down to the wire tonight. So, I need to start earlier, I think, trying to fit all this in. What am I doing? At least I made the stars in advance. Now, the other reason I made the stars in advance is because if you go to paint something that you've just made, that's just come out of the fridge, it will not work very well. It will be too cold. And as you paint this paint on, it will just set immediately. So if you make anything from stars to bows to reindeers, anything at all that you're going to paint, you'll need to do it and then get it out of the fridge and let it come up to room temperature so that it's got an opportunity to go back to room temperature before you paint it. That's really important. So this little bow here, all I'm going to do with some white paint is literally just put a few little spots on. This will become more apparent what this is for shortly. when I put this cake together.
What's your website again?
My website, I'll pop my website up just for a second while I'm doing this. Okay, so if anybody wants to look for these moulds, they're under silicone moulds. They're also under the Christmas shop as well, which is in there. You'll see that is a whole section on Christmas. Have a look in there. You'll find them in there. Let me just turn that around. I'm going to take the banner down again now, right, before I forget, because I'm often busy doing this and then forget. As I say, just be aware there could be a delay with some of the moulds. We've got some in stock, but if it goes a bit mad tonight, then with maybe a bit of a delay. Hopefully not too long. She said 5 to 7 days, so the moulds themselves come from abroad, and then there's a delay with the poor lady who's not working full time, so it's a bit all over the place. And then what was I going to do? I'm just going to take a little bit of the black and mix a tiny bit of red in there with it. So I'm going to make sort of a darker red colour, and I'm just going to paint the inside of this mould here just to give it a bit of shadow, so that it looks like it's more of a bow rather than just a block of red. So if I paint that area there, you see it then looks like a bit more like a bow. It makes the rest of it stand out. Right, okay, we are done with the painting. So now we're going to start assembling the cake. So I'm just going to move everything out of the way so we don't get in a muddle, like so. There we go. Right, and actually I need to blow this candle out, otherwise I'll forget, and put that down there. All right, okay, and bring our cake in. I'm going to put those bits over there to dry, so we don't want those in the way at the moment, and we will start sorting out our cake. So we might move on to the other camera actually, because we've got 2 cameras on the go, or 3 cameras on the go actually. I'll have to move the camera out of the way. There we go, and that's that one there. Try and clear up a bit, like that.
What's the name of the mould for size of cake?
The what, sorry?
What's the name of the mould for size of cake? What does that mean?
What's the name of moulds for the side of cake? I don't know what that means. Oh, you have to tell us what you mean with that one.
Sometimes I just read them out and I think you know what it means.
Right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to melt some of this chocolate again. Don't worry, I'm not going to do 10 second stir, 10 second stir. Got some dark chocolate in here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to melt this, and then I'm going to add it to some of my buttercream that I made. So when I'm just melting it for normal purposes, so I'm just using it to stick things to the sugar paste, then it doesn't have to be tempered, it doesn't have to go through that process, it just needs to be melted. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to just add some. Is there another bowl in over there, Kelly? Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
Big or little?
Big one, really. Okay, that's fine. And then what I can do is I can put some buttercream in there. Hold on. So we're just going to keep an eye on that. So this is going in my buttercream, so it's just 30 seconds. 30 seconds, give it a quick stir, another 30 seconds, job done. So that should be fairly straightforward. I've got a lot of chocolate stuck to my spatula, which is all coming off beautifully, so I know it's all been tempered, so I'm happy with that. And I'm just going to put some buttercream in here now. Carol has got loads of the Christmas buttercream in, hasn't she? She's got pumpkin spice, which you were trying to take out off me. Kelly does like all things pumpkin. And we used gingerbread last week. Now I did say there should be a reindeer flavour. I'll have to work on that one, Carol. There isn't a reindeer flavour. So I have got, what was the one I used tonight in the end? I can't remember which one I used. I've got it down here. Hold on, this one. Rum and raisin, that was it. It's a rum and raisin evening, so try rum and raisin. Okay, so we're just waiting for this to melt. 30 seconds, stir, 30 seconds, stir, 30 seconds. Keep going. It will be much quicker than the tempering method, which you know takes a period of time. And then I'm just going to mix this into the buttercream. Kelly, can you just stick some water in a little container over there? I sometimes add water to it as well to stop it setting so quickly, so it gives me a little bit of time to be able to do this. So, because sometimes you find that it sets so quickly, as you saw with the chocolate earlier, that it becomes really difficult to kind of spread it onto your cake. Now this is still going. So keep going for the minute. And then I'm trying to make this look tidy, so if I turn the camera around.
That's fine, I'll eat it.
You're going to eat it, are you, Kelly? Oh, that's all right, problem solved then. Can you pass me that straight palette knife that's over there, please? The one, yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Still taking a long time to melt. Just turn it up a bit. There we go. And then we're going to mix that into the buttercream, and we're going to start assembling the cake, and we're going to be using chocolate cigarellos. So if you haven't come across these before, I'm actually going to do a combination tonight of milk and white, mainly because I haven't got any more dark, and so we're going to have to use white and milk. That's all part of the design really, Kelly.
What's the ratio of melted chocolate in the buttercream?
It doesn't matter, whatever you like. I tend to use, gosh, about a third, maybe, quite high. It doesn't matter. As long as it's got an element of chocolate in there, it will stick. And that's all you've got to worry about. You just need it to stick. And if you put buttercream on a cake and then you use cigarellos or some sort of chocolate, anything really, you're sticking to the side of the cake and there's no element of chocolate in there, what's going to happen is that it will look great, and then you might start travelling with it, and then you might find bits start falling off. So if you add an element of chocolate, then you're not going to have that problem. So it's quite important that you do that.
The next question is, can I use sugar flare edible chocolate colouring to paint the chocolate?
What's the question again?
Can I use sugar flare edible chocolate colouring to paint chocolate?
I don't know, to be honest with you. I know you can use it to colour chocolate, but whether you can paint with it, I don't know. I'm not going to lie and say I know, because I don't know, so have a go and let me know. That's the honest answer, or I'll have to have a go. I think I've got some somewhere. I'll have to have a play with it and see what it does, but I don't know the answer, so have a go and see what it does. That's the best way. Do a bit of experimenting, I reckon. Right. Nearly there. I will be finished before the bake-off, I guarantee it. It's half an hour left. We will do this, no problem. It might be a bit down to the wire, but we will get there. Once you start putting these cakes together, that's it, very quick. Right. So remember, I didn't temper this, I just melted it. So I haven't done anything complicated with this. I've literally just melted it in the microwave, and that is it. I'm going to give it a 10-second more blast because there is a few lumps of chocolate in there and I want to get rid of those. And then we're going to mix buttercream. So we'll turn the camera so you can see this. Let's move things around. There we go. Yep, there we go. So we're just going to pop the chocolate in now so it's all melted. Okay, like so. Let's put that out of the way. And then I'm just going to add literally about a tablespoon or so of water to this just to stop it setting. Okay, and then I'm just going to mix that through. So I want to keep it soft while I'm trying to apply it to the cake, and then I want it to set. So I just find chocolate on its own with buttercream, it sets really, really quickly. Whereas if you add a little bit of water, it makes all the difference. So, okay. So this is chocolate, rum and raisin. How about that? That sounds all right, doesn't it? Right, I'm just going to switch over to my spatula and just get everything off the bottom. Right, there we go. Okay, so I just need to wipe my hands, and we're going to start putting the chocolate cigarellos on.
Can you add flavouring to this?
Well, it's already pre-flavoured rum and raisin. So if you're making a plain buttercream, I mean, Carol has all these wonderful pre-flavoured buttercreams, including apple crumble, which is very nice. And the first one I ever tried ever, because I thought this is not happening. Apple crumble, you've got to be joking. And actually it was, I like apple crumble, it was amazing. And so in terms of flavoured icing sugars, all the buttercream that Sugar and Crumbs sell is pre-flavoured. So go and have a look at their website and you'll find lots and lots of different ones on there. Okay, now I'm just having a look at my camera. Where are we? We're over there. Right, okay, so let's turn to the side version here. Just trying to make a bit of space. There we go. Right, not too chaotic. Right, so what we're going to do is take hold of our buttercream. Now I'm just going to go round the top edge here, just to stop the sides pulling away more than anything else. But I'm actually going to pipe over this, so it doesn't really matter. That's the plan anyway. So we're just going to just put it on like that. And then we'll start doing this in sections. If you do this in sections, then you'll find that the cigarellos will stick, because what tends to happen is if you go all the way around your cake, when you get to the end, you're going to find they're not going to stick properly, because basically you've let it dry, or it's dried quicker than you can work. So I do a small section at a time, and we're going to do what I hope we're going to do. Let's do so we'll start there. Now I did measure my cake earlier this evening to make sure it was the right height, which is quite important. So we'll do a 2 to 1, shall we, Kelly?
Yeah.
I nearly called you Charlotte then, I'm sorry. I know. If Charlotte's watching, she'll find that funny. It's my other daughter. Right, so we'll do a pattern like that. That looks okay. So we're just going to stand these up like so. Now, if anybody's looking for dark cigarellos, I do have some in stock, but I forgot to change the stock figures before I came online. Whoops, I've gone wrong. So just bear with me and I'll adjust those when I've finished. There we go. So I'm always making different patterns with these. I've done lots of panels on this particular Sugar and Crumbs. People have seen me do lots of transfer sheet panel cakes, but I thought tonight I haven't done one completely with cigarello, so I thought, right, we'll do that for variety.
Do you always trim the sides of your sponges?
Do I always trim the side of my sponges? Sometimes. It doesn't matter really, to be honest. It's up to you. Entirely up to you. Personal choice, personal preference, whatever you like the look of. So these have been cut out of a big tray, so that's probably what you're thinking, is why is it white on the sides? But it's white on the sides because I've cut this out of a tray, so that's probably what you're thinking, I would imagine. So I'll keep going up. I've got enough cigarellos to get around this, Kelly. I didn't measure it. This is
change pattern halfway.
We might have to change the pattern halfway through. Oh dear. Never mind, we'll keep going. See, they're very quick to do. If anyone ever says to you, I mean, I've got this story of a long time ago where I got called by a wedding venue saying the wedding cake hadn't turned up and the bride was due in at 2 and it was 1 o'clock. And what could I do? And I literally threw together a 3-tier wedding cake with chocolate cigarellos and took it up there. It was just done in record time. It is a very quick way to do a cake, and it's so lovely as well. I think it is anyway. It's a really nice way. It looks super smart. Okay, oh no, back on that one, not that one. There we go. It's mesmerising watching the pattern build, isn't it? Right, we're over halfway now. I'm speeding up so we get it all done. Got another white one. Right, I'm going to go to the end now. Now, when I finish my cakes, I normally put pictures on my Instagram page. So if anybody wants to have a look at them, the picture up close at the end, I will be putting it on my Instagram page, which is at Tracy Man Cakes, where I normally put what I'm doing for my demos on there. So if you want to have a look in advance or see what I did after the demo, then have a look on there. A lot of you have done the poppy painting that I did this week. So I did poppy painting last Thursday for Remembrance Day, Remembrance Sunday as well, and loads of you have done it. So if you want to have a go, do go back and watch it. It's on Sugar and Crumbs with Nifty Nozzles. I did it on Thursday morning last week, and there is a little template you can download as well to help you do it. There was some amazing results. I think of all the things I've painted, that's the one I've seen the most people take part in. So loads of you have done it and it looked amazing. So I'm glad that you have all benefited from that tutorial. Right, nearly there. I'm going to make it, I think.
Don't think so.
If not, there's going to be a slightly rogue pattern at the end, but we're going to go with it, Kenny. It's going to be okay. I think it's literally down to the last one or two in the box. So, there we go. See how super quick this is. Right. Put that there. On there. Oh my goodness me, and even better, the actual pattern is perfect. Yay. You see now, if I tried to do that, it wouldn't have happened, but it is actually perfect. Oh my goodness me, wonderful, perfect, happy with that. So there you go, that didn't take long, did it? Very, very quick. Right, let's get out what we did earlier today. So let's clean my table up a bit because there's chocolate absolutely everywhere. Let's turn this camera down and I will get out what we made earlier. So we made a plaque and a little cake. So what I'm going to do here, hopefully not break it. I do have a backup one if I break it, so all being well, it should be fine. There we go. So what I'm going to do is take this. Now if you watch this very carefully, remember the pattern was on there earlier. The pattern has now come off, so that's now a clean sheet and the pattern is on there. Now don't worry about any of the chocolate that's kind of around the outside edge. I'm also not going to try and chip it off or anything because this is all going to merge into my cake in a minute. So I'm going to just pop some chocolate. I'll move this across so you can see it. Bring my cake in. Whoop. Hold on. Let me juggle this, put that on the other side. Okay, there's my cake. So what I'm going to do here is, actually that's going to work brilliantly because I've got everything to do on the top now, so that's fine. So, I'm going to, I don't want to break that. I'm going to take some more of this chocolate, just pop it in the middle, like so. And then I'm going to take my plaque like that and just pop that there. Now be careful with it, don't start pressing it and doing all these things, just be very careful with it. Like that, so make sure you've got it in the middle. Then I am going to just clean my hands because I'm covered in...
Where can you buy cigarellos?
Cigarellos are on my website. As I say, if it says the dark's out of stock, I haven't updated it yet, but they are on my website. tracyscakes.co.uk. Now with this, with the reindeers are all going this way, so they're kind of jumping in that direction. So I'm going to make sure that they are that direction before I then add my little reindeer. Now what I've done is just put a little bit of chocolate buttercream on the bottom of the reindeer and put in there. And then I'm going to take my little bow that I did earlier. Again, I'm just putting a little bit of buttercream on the bottom. I'm just going to stick that there like that. There you go, looking very super smart. And then what I'm going to do is go for a sort of a, well, I'm hoping this is going to work because I haven't actually done it. I'm going to pipe with my nifty nozzle. So I'm going to use, where are we camera wise? I'm going to use this one here. Okay, and I'm going to pipe in a nice green colour. I need a, have you got another palette knife over there? Because every single one of mine's absolutely coated in chocolate. I don't stand a chance. Perfect, thank you. So I've got some green buttercream that I made earlier. And I'm just going to pop that into my piping bag. And I'm going to try and create some sort of wreath looking thing, and then I'm going to use my gold stars to sort of finish off my decoration. So all I'm going to do is to start in the middle here, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge here. Let's move over so I can see what I'm doing. So I know what they're going to say now. Squeeze, pull, relax or something, isn't it? They'll all start telling me in a minute. You wait. Okay, so I'm going slightly over the transfer just to kind of cover the edge. Okay, so that's the start of it. And I'm just going to keep turning my turntable round, you can see, can't you?
Would
Yeah.
chocolate transfer sheets work on top of marzipan?
No, because you've got to heat them up. So they do work on sugar paste, and I've got some really interesting ideas coming out about that shortly. But they do not work on marzipan, no, because if you have to heat it, you see, the marzipan, you could put a transfer sheet on it with chocolate on it. You could do that. So say you've covered your cake in marzipan and then you put your transfer sheet on, that would be okay. You could do that. Okay. Oh, that's typical, isn't it? Always does that in the wrong place. So I'm just going round. You can see how quickly it's all come together. So, you know, there was a lot of bit of decoration to make at the start, you know, make the reindeer. And
what number nozzle is it?
I don't know what number it is, but I will show you what it looks like. Carol will be able to identify that for you. It's one of the minis, but that's what it is. I'll hold it there for a second. These are going to be on the Sugar and Crumbs page. Okay, so it's that one there. So, okay. There's a bigger version of it and a little version. This is the little version. And I just kind of hoped, which I seem to be getting the effect I wanted. It was just going to look a bit like Kelly, I should say Kelly hoped. Were you hoping for this, Kelly?
Yes.
Because this was Kelly's idea, you see. I can't take all the credit for this tonight. This was Kelly's cake. Wasn't it, Kel? There we go. Don't forget to like and share tonight. I always forget to mention it. Please remember to like and share. That would be great.
Mum, the number is on the side of the nozzle.
Is it? Well, I can't. Is it really? Well, I can't see it because it's covered in green buttercream. Yeah, I've kind of stitched myself up there. It's covered in buttercream. Is it really? Do you know, I've never looked. Normally, all the other nozzles are, but I've not noticed those before. I can't tell you at the moment because it's covered in buttercream. Okay, so we're almost there. Take it right out to the edge as well. So right out to the sugar paste. Then
everyone's saying this is just such a fab idea and they love it.
They love my cake.
Just want to say well done.
Well, wow, Kelly. Yeah, there you go. Take some credit, Kelly. Then what we're going to do, let me put that, oh dear, they're running out of space here. We're going to take some of our chocolate stars that we made. We're going to put these on here. So we're going to pop that in there. And we could have a combination as well if you liked the dark and the light ones. I actually think they look quite nice mixed up. Kelly, what do you think?
Yeah.
You approve? Well, that's all that matters then, isn't it? As long as you like it. There we go. Something like this. Obviously then we'd need to put loads of glitter on it as well, just because it's Christmas, but there we go. So how about that? That is my chocolate reindeer wreath cake. And then what I'm going to do is just show you how to finish the other one. And then what I'll do is I'll hold them both up so you can see them at the camera. But that's this one done. Oh no, I was going to put a ribbon round it, wasn't I? I found this very nice ribbon earlier today. So I'm going to attempt to put this round as well. I'm just going to bring a ribbon round and tie it. Just put a little bow at the front. Sort of tablecloth ribbon. I thought it was quite nice for Christmas. Just happened to jump out at me in the cupboard, so I will show you that in a second. I'll just organise this down here. Okay, what I'll do there, you've got the best view, to be honest, on top at the moment. Right, let's move this out of the way and we will look at the little one. Is she getting a slice? Somebody's just asked.
Yeah, she should be.
Right, let me show you these. So I'm just going to take this little card here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of chocolate buttercream on there and pop our little cake that we made earlier. Now we're just going to take the transfer sheet off, so we're just going to pull like so. You can see it lifting. Go all the way round until we get to the end, and when we get to the end you're going to find that it snaps like that, which will leave you then with a straight line down the side there. That's what you're looking for. So you do need this to overlap when you put them together. Then what we'll do, because don't forget this is the mini version of the reindeer cake, so I'm going to take my green and I'm just going to pipe, so I've got two versions here tonight. I'm just going to pipe some of the green in the middle like so. There we go. And then we're going to take the reindeer. Now this one's actually still on a lollipop stick, and I might switch to the, no I won't switch to the camera because there's so much mess everywhere. And then I'm just going to push that, oh no I'm not going to do it because that's the back. I'm going to push that down as far as I can into the little cup. You're not going to be able to see this, so I'm going to have to turn this camera. I do apologise for the mess everywhere. Hold on, let me just turn this over for a second. There we go, so you can see the view of the little reindeer there on the small cake there. So that's the little mini version as well, and he's going to fit inside one of the little plastic containers, so I'll put that in there for you in a minute so you can have a look and see how that's done as well. Amongst all this, Kelly, let me put this down. Oops, I've knocked him over now, he's just had a bump. There we go. Kelly, can you just take that for me a second please, so I can actually move. There we go. See how robust he is. Right, okay. So we can take one of these little boxes. We sell these boxes on my website. If you want to package him up, just move that green out of the way because I can literally guarantee that's going to attach itself. And then we can pick this up and we can pop him in. I'm going to put the card in first. Go on. I'm going to catch hold of it like that. There we go. Magic. I've got so much buttercream on my hands. I'm trying not to touch him. All right. Make sure he's pushed right down. That's why I did the cake a little bit shorter tonight, because otherwise he won't fit in the box. So just bear that in mind if you do decide to do him. You will need to make your cake a little bit shorter, and then he fits in there like that. Okay, brilliant. Right. You see, I told you I'd get finished in time. How many minutes? About 6 or 7 minutes before the bake-off. Right, let me show you all the cakes and we'll run through what we've done tonight. So this is the little reindeer cake that's in the little box there for somebody. Very pretty. I'm just going to put my website up there in case anybody's thinking they want to go and find these moulds and things. So this is the little mini reindeer cake, so very sweet. Remember, if you do this, don't make your cake too deep, otherwise the reindeer won't fit in the box. So make sure it's quite short when you do it. Okay, so just do a bit of measuring before you start, but that's really quite sweet, and I think somebody would love that, wouldn't they, if they would have that as a little gift. It really is quite cute. I'm just going to take it right up close to the camera so you can see it. There you go. Again, I will take pictures of this and put them on my Instagram. And then the cake, here we go. The cake. I'm going to just tip it like that. Hopefully nothing all falls off. And that is the cake for tonight. So I did put a ribbon around the bottom. I found a bit of red gingham or whatever it is around the bottom just to kind of match it. And I have done a cake like that. All right. Phew. We made it. I didn't think we were going to make it at one point. I thought we're not going to get through this demonstration, but there we go. So if you fancy having a go at a reindeer wreath cake, then there you go. There's some ideas for you. A little mini one and also a big one there as well. really interesting way of decorating, a little bit different, and as I say, you're very welcome. And I will put this on my Instagram. I'm going to quickly put my Instagram page up because it's quite difficult to show you on a live what things look like. So if you want to go back and have a look, I will put it on my Instagram in a minute and you'll be able to see it, so then it's bit more real than what it is on my camera. So I will be back on Thursday morning at 11:30 with some more painting and bits and pieces, so I will be on then and going through various things, and then I will be back again on Tuesday at 6:30 on Sugar and Crumbs. So thank you very much for joining me this evening. If you have any questions at all and you want to talk to me, do visit my website tracyscakes.co.uk. Don't forget, Carol has some amazing winter buttercream flavoured things, icing sugar, to make all of those incredible Christmas treats that you're going to make this year, including this reindeer cake, which you can make with her buttercreams as well. Just need to add a little bit of chocolate to get everything to hold and stick together, and you'll be fine. All right, so have a lovely evening. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget to like and share. We really appreciate that as well. And come back and see me on Thursday morning at 11:30. If you can't make it, or you miss out, or you joined late, you can always re-watch these demonstrations. They are all on Sugar and Crumbs with Nifty Nozzles, and they stay there as well. So if you ever need to go back for reference, or you want to watch it all again, do go back and have a look across the site and you will find all of these demonstrations on there. And I know that there's been loads more extra demonstrations added due to lockdown, so that we're keeping you all entertained with everything during this time. So thank you very much for joining me. It's time for the Great British Bake Off in a minute, so I'm going to let you all go and have a cup of tea and have a look round and say take care, and I will see you on Thursday. Bye.
Goodbye.